Are you a dental hygienist who is frustrated about something? Having trouble cleaning a patient's teeth because they have tight lips? Struggling with clock positions while charting? Trying to take an FMX with a snap array? Being told by the office manager to push product in your office? Working on an empty stomach? Whew, let's talk. Hi, my name is Whitney and I'm a dental hygienist here to talk about 5 things that can be super frustrating while working as an RDH and how to overcome them. Number 1, patients with tight lips. If you know, you know. Cleaning patients' teeth when they are tensing their lower lip or cheeks. If they are too tight, you literally cannot reach their anteriors. My best advice, what works for me, is first simply asking the patient if they notice that they are doing it. And if they do, then I ask them to focus on relaxing their lips and or relaxing their cheeks. Most of the time, once you make the patient aware that they are doing it, they can focus on not doing it. But oftentimes, they might stop tensing up and be all relaxed and good for a while, just to slowly start tightening up again. So I usually just keep giving them friendly reminders to relax their lips. You know, it's not their fault. It just happens subconsciously. Now, on the other hand, if the patient has no idea that they are doing it, they can't control it at all, even when they try to focus on relaxing their lips, if they can't control it, the next thing I try is cotton rolls. This is more often than not very successful. I place them inside the lower lip, sometimes 2 if needed, and then I won't use a mirror. Instead, I'll use my mirror hand to hold the cotton rolls down, so then I have access to the teeth to properly scale them. Sometimes, in rare cases, if this still doesn't work, if they are severely scrunching their lips, I have used lip retractors before. Sometimes that's the winner, that solves everything. And if you don't have lip retractors in your office, you can buy them online pretty easily, although the ones on Amazon are usually disposable only. So to get autoclavable ones, you can always consider asking your dentist or office manager to purchase them for your office. If still none of that works, the patient is very tense, last resort for me is to use nitrous oxide. Now, I try to avoid nitrous at all costs. I really feel that my communication, making the patient naturally feel comfortable, I do everything that I can to not use nitrous. It's just my personal preference. Everyone feels differently about this, and maybe one day I will change my mind and be more nitrous friendly, but I try to avoid it. However, once there was a case when the tightness was so severe that I couldn't even see at all in the patient's mouth. Usually this is more of an anxiety issue when it's that significant, right? So in rare cases, I will consider offering nitrous because it really helps the patient focus on relaxing their lips since they are more calm, thus allowing me to properly clean their teeth. Number 2, not being fast enough when probing and charting. Okay, so everyone is different, but I am someone who remembers numbers and patterns, right? It's like 323, 323, 323, 313. Once the pattern ends, I'll right away enter those numbers in the computer really fast. I'll remember as many numbers as I can, and then once I can't remember anymore, I log them in. Of course, if there's someone around to help you chart, that's your best bet. Someone to chart for you so you can call out the numbers out loud and they type them in for you. But if you don't have an assistant or another hygienist or anyone that works with you available to help you, my best advice is to try to remember as many numbers as you can and put them in the computer as you go. Of course, there's also perio charting software that exists. It listens to your voice and charts the numbers for you. I've never used it, but it sounds amazing. So if perio charting is something that is really difficult for you to do quickly and you always find yourself getting behind due to charting your own numbers, maybe considering looking into one of those softwares for your office. Something to discuss at your next team meeting, right? But for me, usually I can either just ask someone for help, especially if it's a perio patient and there's not going to be many patterns. Sometimes the probing numbers are all over the place with perio patients, right? It's not going to be 323, 323. It's going to be more like 645, 734, 644. It's hard to do that alone when the numbers are all over the place and to be quick about it at the same time, no less. So if I am alone, what I try to do is not move too much. I don't move around too much. I actually do this whether it's a routine patient or a perio patient. No matter who it is, I keep my chair where it is. Lots of students have asked me in the comments to make videos on clock positions. I've never done it because I figure if you're asking for school, every school might tell you slightly different positions, right? So I would never want to steer a student wrong. But if you are graduated, you are working, you can now do whatever you want with your clock positions. So if you need to quickly perio chart or a regular chart the dentition, using a lot of indirect vision helps me go quicker because it's less moving around for me. I don't move my chair at all when I'm perio charting. I stay at 8 o'clock-ish and I have the patient move their head around a lot and I use my mirror a lot. That way I'm near my computer the whole time, so charting just goes faster. That's what works for me, and you'll find what works for you over time as well. Quick video interruption. If you are interested in the dental hygiene career, I have a free RDH video checklist, which I'll link in the description box below. I get lots of questions about how to become a dental hygienist, so be sure to click the link in the bottom bar to find out all of the tips and tricks about becoming a dental hygienist, whether you're in high school and a little bit interested in the career, all the way to being graduated and looking looking to find your first RDH job. It's got it all. Now back to the video. Back to number 3, working on an empty stomach. It can be so hard to take a break depending on where you work and how your patients are scheduled, right? But sometimes I don't even get a lunch scheduled for me, so I know my stomach can get hungry. Again, everyone is different. On some days I'm fine. I just am like going. But on other days I'm like, oh, thank goodness I have a lunch break scheduled today, you know? But for the days I don't have a lunch break, what I usually do is when I'm waiting for the dentist's exam, I like leave the patient's room, stuff a hard-boiled egg in my mouth, put my mask back on, and chew it while I'm waiting in the hall. It sounds like weird multitasking, but every minute counts, right? So then when the dentist arrives for the exam, I make sure to swallow it best I can so I can join the dentist in the room for the patient exam. My breath does not smell good in my mask. No, it does not. But my stomach feels good and happy. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Hard-boiled eggs are definitely my go-to snack. I like eggs and it's just so easy for me to just pop one in my mouth, and then they tend to give me good energy as well. Sometimes I'll do a handful of nuts, or I'll slurp a yogurt really fast. I'm sure there's lots of other snack options out there, but my point is find a snack that works for you and that can give you some semi-healthy nutrients so you can have longer lasting energy. And of course, arguably more importantly, anytime you can drink water between patients, try to do that too. I know there's so much to do between patients, cleaning the room, sterilizing the instruments, charting the patient notes. It's wild. It's unbelievable actually how much there is for us to do between patients. So my best advice, what works for me, is if you need to skip your last patient's notes and save them for after the next patient so you can eat your egg, what have you, then you'll just do 2 patient notes, 2 patient charts after the next patient. I know this is sometimes a scary thing to do because you don't want all the charts to add up and you'll be swamped at the end of the day, but you'll find a routine that works for you. And once you do, your stomach will be happy. Number 4, how to push product without pushing product. So if your office requires you to sell toothbrushes or whitening or something, you have some kind of quota to fulfill. This is so broad because it depends on what products they require you to sell. But my best advice on this one is obviously cater to each individual patient. Don't be just telling every patient that they can use some whitening. Can lots of people use and enjoy whitening products? Sure, but you know that not every patient needs or is even eligible for whitening. So if you have the option of different products for different patients, try to organically sell what you would have naturally told them to purchase at the store themselves anyway. Like if your patient is having a hard time flossing or bleeding gums, whatever the case, if they would benefit from a water flosser, and water flossers are one of the items that you sell in office, that's a good segue, a good transition into saying, hey, have you ever tried a water flosser? It can help you personally because of X, Y, and Z, right? Make sure each individual recommendation is for the individual patient's needs. Don't just sell stuff to sell stuff. Make sure there's a reason behind it. And lastly, number 5, how to take an FMX with a snap array. Lots of offices only have snap arrays. And if you were trained with the rings using the RIN, sometimes a snap array can be difficult. It's like driving stick shift versus automatic, right? You can figure it out, you can, but it might be a little annoying at first. What I personally would do if I couldn't get comfortable with the snap array, I work in an office that wouldn't care at all if I brought my own rings to use. And so then I could take my perfect x-rays with my RIN and then everyone is happy. So that's what I would do if I was in the situation of struggling with the snap array and the bite wing tabs and all that stuff. However, some offices might not like that. They want you to use what they all use. If so, that's fine. I'm all about practice and getting used to it. So before I went to dental hygiene school, I actually worked as a dental assistant in an office that only used snap array. So when I got to dental hygiene school, using the rings, I was like, what? So it's funny how it goes both ways. Whatever you learned with, you'll be more comfortable with. But over time, you'll be able to use both. I seriously didn't think I'd ever figure out the rings, but now I actually love and prefer the rings. So I guess what I'll say for this one is with the snap array, you just have to angle the tube a little more. Usually most digital x-ray machines, I have just told my coworkers that ask for help, I just tell them that I recommend they pretend that the ring is there and line it up with your imaginary ring. I know that's not actually correct because technically the angles are different, but for some reason when that's in your mind, you can visualize it and it helps. I also use my finger to help me line it up with both the tabs and the snap array. Practice really makes perfect. You'll be fine in no time. And again, if you really don't want to deal with it, see if you could bring your own rings or bring your own snap array if you like the snap arrays and not the rings. Whatever you like, ask if you could bring them. Lots of times the offices won't care if you bring your own stuff. But if they do care, also no worries. You'll be able to adapt in no time. And those are my 5 frustrating things to overcome as a dental hygienist. I hope this video helped you. Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications if it did. And if you want more teeth talk, you can visit my website, teethtalkgirl.com. And for even more specifics on the dental hygiene career, I have my RDH hub, which is teethtalkgirl.com/RDH. All the links are in the description box of this video. And until next time, I'll see you on Instagram @teethtalkgirl. Peace, love, and teeth.